in the today's lecture, basically I'll be giving the background for need of flow diagram in the method study. So in the method study there are various steps, and after the selection of the job, second step is the recording technique, wherein there are number of recording techniques, and as per the purpose of method study and as per the case, the different recording techniques are used. And once the data is recorded, thereafter the critical examination is carried out on the current way of doing the things, so that an improved method can be developed. So although we have talked about up to the 4 steps, like the select the recording technique and then critical examination and method study, but there are so many recording techniques, and we will try to cover most of the important recording techniques because each one will be supplemented with the critical examination and development of the new method. Therefore it was important to cover the critical examination and the development steps also along with the recording techniques. In manufacturing or in service industry, the lot of movements of the material or the man will be taking place during the production of the services or goods. So for this for facilitating the movement of man or material during the production, you need a lot of resources, time, and because of this there is a lot of cost involved in this movement of man and material during the production, and it forms very high proportion of total cost of the product or the item or the service which is being produced. So it is important that in order to improve the productivity, in order to increase the production, either the time or cost associated with all such movements of man or material is reduced. So the time and cost associated with the movement of man or material is reduced, because unnecessary, if long distances are traveled by the man or material in course of production, then simply it will be taking place, leading to the higher cost and no value addition. As I said earlier, inspection, transport, delay and the storage, these are not contributing in any way. Some of these may be important, but these do not contribute in any way, so their fraction has to be reduced. So if unnecessary long distances need to be traveled by the man or material in course of production, that too without any value addition, then that should be minimized. And therefore whatever is the movement of the man or material is taking place, that is governed by what? In any setup, So any setup, whether it is the industry or office or shop floor, so the movement is governed by what? Basically the layout, plant layout or the layout of the office. So if we have to cut down the time or resources involved in movement of man or material in any way, then the study or analysis of existing layout becomes important for making any kind of change or reducing any kind of the movement. And whenever this is done, a systematic approach for study of the layout has to be made. So in the method study, so since the method, this is one of the objective of the method study, where layout improvement is a part in order to reduce, is one of the objectives in order to reduce the material handling or the movement of man or material during the manufacturing. But why at all this happen, and how does this happen in course of manufacturing? So what is the need? Why does it arise at all? So need or what led to the poor layout, what led to the unnecessary extra movements of man and material? So there could have been many situations because of which the poor layout was there, or unnecessary extra movement of man or material was taking place. So this is possible that whenever initial layout was developed, it was not well thought out. This is one typical case. It was not well thought out. The second possibility is that the expansion or modification in layout in form of accommodating the machines, additional machines, offices, material, storage space. Expansion was made to accommodate all these things wherever space could be found. So wherever was the space, they have located just like that. So like they received one machine, or it was required to have some temporary storage, so they did whatever the space they could find there, this was located, and thereafter it became the normal one, like it became the part of the normal layout. There is a third possibility, like some temporary, the changes were made as a temporary adjustments to deal with some emergent situation, like there is a sudden increase in demand. So additional machinery, additional storage space was created, and it was just arranged somehow to increase the production, and thereafter the same setup continued even after the normalcy. even after development of the normal situation. So like continuation of the temporary adjustment might lead to the poor layout setup. So the temporary adjustment which was done to deal with some emergent situation like sudden increase in demand, and that allowed to continue even after the normalcy. So that is the another possible reason which would be leading to the unnecessary extra movement in man or material. And so this may be causing unnecessary, not just long, but say roundabout or very zigzag movements of these the resources, and therefore it becomes important to study the way by which things have been arranged. Okay, so our approach has to be very systematic, otherwise any layout can look like zigzag. Okay, so any arrangement can look like a zigzag if we don't know how the things have been arranged or what is the logic behind the present arrangement of the machines. Therefore it is important to understand the kind of the layout or the plant layouts which are commonly used, like say depending upon the kind of product, the type of the product, volume of the product, or the type of service which is being provided, the things may be arranged in different ways to realize the objective of the organization. So if anybody or work study man goes in there and he finds particular movement, he may find, okay, this is not good, but those things might have been done considering certain things in mind. And so it is important, like what is the existing layout. In layout means arrangement of the facilities. So for this we need to see what the layout is. I'm sure you'll be studying the layout in some other subject also, but here just a little bit I will talk about the layout, because if we understand and appreciate the layout related thing, it will be easy to comment on like what is good, what is bad, and how to record the activities related with the layout. So as far as the layout is concerned, it shows the arrangement or location of machines, equipments of the plant or office, arrangement of the plant, location, equipments, arrangement of the location, arrangement of the location of the machines, equipments in a plant or in an office. It shows basically arrangement, and it is expected that this arrangement is such that there is a easy flow of material and man. Okay, one, easy flow; two, at the lowest cost, with third, minimum material handling requirement from raw material to the finished stage. So what it talks of, it is about the arrangement of the various facilities in a setup in such a way that the flow is easy, happening at the lowest possible cost with the minimum possible material handling, right from the raw material stage to the finished product stage. So this arrangement can be of the different types depending upon the kind of the product or the kind of the service which is being product which is being manufactured or the kind of service which is being provided. As I said, if we don't understand the existing setup, then we may say very easily that this is not appropriate, or this is zigzag, or this is unnecessary. But we have to understand what are the different types of the setups or layouts in which the things are arranged, and for that we have to see the types of layout. Okay, the types of layout. There are 4 types of layout which are commonly used. One is the fixed layout, which is primarily used in fabrication or manufacturing of very heavy, large and bulky equipments, machines or the systems, this is the kind of the category which of the products which are manufactured using fixed layout. Here basically the main material remains fixed, so material is fixed and the various men or operators will be working all around like this, and the various facilities will be brought in close to the material to be processed or material being processed. Okay, so all these facilities will be brought to the material for processing. Okay, so this is what we do. So in case of the construction of building, this kind of the approach is used, where all the machinery and the man, even material, is brought to a particular location, and then things are then the activities are done. So like as far as the heavy structure is concerned, there may be like ship building, aircraft fabrication, and heavy pressure vessels. Heavy pressure vessels. So these are the typical examples of the products wherein the fixed layout is used, and as such it's not costly, because whatever we have is to be brought in close to the main system which is being fabricated. Second one is the process layout. In case of the process layout, the various machines, equipments and other facilities are grouped or segregated as per their functions, and this kind of the setup is used for manufacturing of low volume and high variety kind of the products, where like the volume is very limited, like 50 units of one type, another 50 units of another type, another 50 units of another type. So every time setup has to be changed. So the volume is low and the variety is high for those kind of, so for batch production that may be fine, and the facilities are arranged or segregated as per their functions. So here those workers may be specialized in number of and handling the number of machines, and they can do the variety of the jobs. So as far as this setup is concerned, here you will see there are as far as the typical example is concerned, like in a cutting section, all types of the cutting is done, whether sheet or rods or any kind of any other form of the metal. Then there is a machining section where all types of the machining job is done. Then there is a joining section where all components, different types of the joints are developed. Then there is a heat treatment section, different furnaces are arranged where heat treatment is carried out, and these facilities, like in these sections there will be number of facilities which will be used by a wide variety, used for a wide variety of the product. So then there can be like the assembly section, and then there can be the paint shop like this, and finally dispatch. Okay, so depending upon the kind of the function, the different machines facilities are arranged. And one typical example of this the process layout is like garment industry, where like say the cutting, stitching, and then packing. So receiving at one place, cutting another, stitching another, and then packing and dispatch at another place is being done. So we may have the different sections, like one section, another section, like this, and say arrangement can be of this kind. So like say the cutting, then machining, then welding, then heat treatment, then like say the assembly, then painting, dispatch, like this. Okay, and there, so the similar kind of the things are done at a particular section. So so depending upon the type of product, one may require this, and then may require directly heat treatment, and after that it may require direct painting, and then dispatch. There is one possibility for product X. Then product double X, like say it may require direct joining of the simple component, or the product double X, like after machining it needs the welding, and then it needs let me change the color if I can. Yeah. Okay, so this is the another route for double X product. Then it goes into the welding section. After welding section it goes to the heat treatment section. After heat treatment section this goes to the like assembly section, then paint section. So depending upon the kind of the type of product, the different routes can be followed in this kind of the setup. So this is good enough for the small volume and wide variety and kind of the production setup. Then we have the product layout. This is also called line layout. This is primarily used for mass production purpose. So the high volume and low variety kind of the products are manufactured. Primarily this is used also in manufacturing and assembly. It is used in both manufacturing as well as in assembly setup, like bicycle assembly, car assembly, aircraft assembly. There also we follow the line production. In manufacturing, like steel, raw material production is of the steel and cement. These industries will be starting from the raw material to the final finished stage. the material, the things will be moving in a particular line only. So depending upon the kind of product and the volume, there can be a single starting from the raw material to the material being processed in number of the stages, and at the end we get the finished product. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. After passing these three, say these stages, so every so this is for A product A. If the product B, the design may be different, so there may be another line for the another product like this. Okay, so here again we'll be getting the finished goods, and here the raw material for line B, and it may have another kind of the machines, another kind of setup, another kind of the operations. So but since here this involves this is very capital intensive, because a lot of machinery and the duplication of the facilities will be needed to have another line. So this kind of the setup or this kind of the duplicacy of the setup will be justified only when the volume of the product to be manufactured is significantly high. Then only the second line or other lines will be justified. So for steel, for cement industry, you will be seeing that these will be running continuously, otherwise the work will be stopped for us, and there won't be any production. So these things work on the continuous basis for producing high volume. Then there is the group layout. Group layout is you can say the hybrid structure of both, which combines the few good features of process and the product layout. So it is the hybrid structure, and these are used for manufacturing the moderate volumes and moderate variety. So earlier you have seen high volume, low variety, or low volume, high variety. Here moderate volume and moderate variety kind of thing. Here also you will see some duplicacy and some lines, like say there is one cell and there is another cell. Okay, whatever is to be manufactured, so it will be sent as per their nature or characteristics or features. The product will be sent to the different cells. So here in this cell there are certain people, there are certain machinery, and they will be working on a certain type of the features to produce certain types of the goods. So these may produce a complete product, or these may produce a part of product. So one group responsible for manufacturing certain type of the products or certain parts of the products. So when it happens, they will be able to see like they are at least responsible for certain things. So this gives them a satisfaction in job. So to facilitate the work satisfaction, this kind of the layout was primarily developed thereafter, but at the same time it also exploits the positive sides of both process and product layout. So likewise, this is cell 1, and then there is another cell having another set of the facilities and another set of the workers. They will be working on these facilities. They are responsible for the things being done. So like one part family or another part family, for one type of the geometrical features, this cell is used for another type of the geometrical features, the another cell is used. So they are responsible for manufacturing either complete part or the complete product or a part of the product. Okay, so this is a kind of group layout. So these are the four common types of the layouts. My purpose is not to show the flow diagram. About flow diagram I will talk little later. So here you see this is the the flow diagram, or this is a flow diagram showing the different the ways by which the movement of the material is taking place during the manufacturing of bicycle axle. Okay, so this material is taken from the raw material store, then it is brought to the raw material cutting shed, and then it goes to the forging shop, then it goes to the this heat treatment, and then turning, and then milling section, then from milling section again it goes to the heat treatment, and finally inspection, and then part storage. Okay, so like if it is being cold forged, then it may get hardened very badly, and which will make the machining difficult, so it would be appropriate to soften it through the one stage heat treatment, maybe process annealing kind of thing, and thereafter it is turned and milled, and after this again it is quenched and tempered to impart the desired set of the properties. So this is just an idea of mostly the medium carbon steel or the low carbon steel kind of thing is used. So after forging it will get hardened, so to it may process annealing may be needed to soften it so that it can be machined effectively, and then after the machining it is subjected to the again heat treatment so that desired set of the properties again can be imparted through the quenching and tempering kind of treatment setup, and after that it is sent to the inspection, and then it is stored ready for dispatch. So what it shows, like the different kind of here all types of the, here if you see this is all cutting, all forging, all machining section, and all heat treatment. So this is the process layout, and the good part is this, that the movement is also not very zigzag, so it's fine. Now coming to the another one, the next as I said about the fixed layout, this is just a scheme of the fixed layout where the main material which is being worked, so the machines will be brought in close to this one, the workers are working all around this, and machines and equipments are being brought close to this the main component on which work is being done in case of the fixed layout. And in case of the process layout, like say the raw material is moved to the different sections, this is one section, this is another section, this is another section, this is another section, right? So if the movement of the things is not that smooth, if you see in this one case here moving like this, then like this, then it goes in. So if there is a more variety, then the more clumsy movement can exist between the different sections, and that has to be studied systematically so that either the layout is altered or in order to reduce the ineffective time, or rerouting is done. So many times if the volume increases and still we find that ineffective time is large, then maybe we can shift from process to the product layout, and it's not that difficult, it is just rearrangement of the machines. So as the volume increases, certainly it would be appropriate to shift or to change the layout from process to the product type. Okay, this is the product layout where starting from the raw material is moved through the different stations where work is done until it is finished. Okay, so mostly for assembly lines like in bottling plants or cement industry, steel industry, this kind of the setup is used. Then I was talking about the group layout. In the group layout, these are different things need to be manufactured. So here it will be segregated as per the kind of the features or the type of product to be manufactured. And here we have cells or the groups of the machines and the workers with all different facilities. They are responsible for production of the particular type of the product or a part of the product. So this is the kind of setup which is used. If we see, so depending upon the type of the arrangement or the arrangement of the machinery being used during the production of a particular product or service, there can be the different types of the movements. But as we have noted earlier, you know, the movements are not contributing positively in or they are not adding any value, so these need to be minimized because these will be adding the cost to the product and service significantly. So it is important that these movements are minimized. So for a given type of product, given volume of the product, what will be the best possible flow of the man or material so that things can be produced at the minimum cost, okay, so as to improve the productivity. And this needs the analysis of the layout effectively. Okay, so like this is the another setup only. There can be different ways of arrangement of the machine. This actually, this diagram I need later stages, not at this stage. So here you see the machines may be arranged in a simple like this way, depending upon the space, the kind of a space which is available. Machines can be arranged, and another possible way is this. There can be another possible arrangement of the machines like this. So here, so this is the kind of arrangement to be used will be depending upon the type and the area available, type of the space available. It is single story, it is simple ground floor, or it is the multi-story, or what is the area which is available. So based on that, the suitable kind of the arrangement of the machinery is used. So this is the another kind of setup depending upon the kind of the functions which are used. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and this is the another setup where, like say, raw material is brought to this level 3, and here you see it is processed at 4 different stages. Then it is brought down. Again, it is worked at these 6 stations, and then further it is brought down, and then it is worked further on these 4 stations. So this is the multi-story kind of the setup. Which one will be the good one? What kind of the arrangement that will be helpful most in a given situation, that has to be identified. So the way by which machines or different areas need to be arranged, that will depend upon the kind of space that is available. Although let me clarify that the method study men hardly will be getting the opportunity to contribute in development of the new layout. Okay, the chances are very rare, because for that entire team of the industrial engineers and the plant engineers will be working together to identify the kind of the layout is to be used. So most of the time, as a work study man or as a method study, for the method study, the method study man will primarily be getting the existing layout only for study purpose, to see really what kind of the modification or alteration can be done. But still, what are the different things to be kept in mind when alterations are being done, what are different things to be included. For that, it would be appropriate to also understand what should be kept in mind while developing a new layout. Okay, so it would be appropriate if you have the idea of like how the new layout is developed. If that idea is there, then probably it will be helpful to modify the existing structure, which existing layout, which is not really that much favorable. So the points to be kept in mind for developing the new layout. Okay, the points to be how the new layout is developed. So first of all, what we have to do, develop a list of items, machines or equipments need to be housed or accommodated. Okay, this is one thing that will depend upon certainly depending upon the type of the product or the process to be used. The second thing is like how many units, the number of units of each machine to be used. That will depend upon the volume or the production rate desired, production rate to be obtained, like per day or per month, like that. So the volume to be produced, so number of units of each machine, like lathe 10 or 2, like that. Then the third is like space needed for each machine, okay, into the number of machines in each category. Okay, 5 lathes, 5 milling machine, 5 drilling machines, like that. So space for each machine into the number of machines of each type need to be accommodated, and this will be like algebraic sum of all these spaces need to be identified. Thereafter, another important thing which is kept in mind, like we have to make the provision for storage of like the raw material which is being received, the raw material, so received raw material or the semi-finished product, in process material or finished material. So the provision has to be made to accommodate the incoming raw material, in process material and the finished product. Okay, and also the provision has to be made for movement of material handling equipments which will be handling all this. Okay, then there is also provision for auxiliary services, like there will be washroom, then cafeteria, then rest, then there is office, etc. Then arrangement, then the total space is identified from the space needed for machines plus space needed for material storage, okay, plus auxiliary services. So these are the three major component. Then arrangement of each department. Okay, arrangement of the each department. Okay, arrangement of the each department, how these will be arranged for a smooth flow of the facilities, and based on that the plan of building is developed. Plan of the building is is developed to see where will be the raw material, where it will be received, then how it will be, then where the machines will be accommodated, where will be the auxiliary services. So like that, considering these requirements, and then again the design of the site, size and design of site. It will be considering, apart from the above space required, it also be considering the space for parking, space for like receiving or shipping of the material, receiving or shipping or dispatching of the material, and landscaping as per the opportunities, the possibilities, etc. So as I said, these are the various things which are needed in a kind of the layout, and like for the new layout it is fine. If it is being done from the scratch, it is fine. Probably this can be done more systematically, but the work study man will hardly be getting opportunity to contribute in the new layout. He will be getting the existing setup only for the improvement purpose. So he'll have to see really what improvement, what can be done in existing setup, existing layout after the study. So that layout, that study may suggest, okay, minor alteration in the layout for the improvement of the productivity, reducing the wastage, reducing the material handling. Okay, and here in this regard only the flow diagram, string diagram, travel chart, etc. help a lot. So knowing the layout is important. In if you know that different types of the layout, what are the different things that are needed in a kind of the plant layout, it will be easier to analyze the recorded data obtained through the string diagram or through the flow diagram. It will be easier to critically examine and to come out with a better alternative or solution for improving the situation if we understand the inside out of the plant layouts. Okay, so today's the content regarding the plant layout is primarily to supplement and to understand and appreciate the things related with the string diagram and flow diagram. Okay, those I will be taking up in the next lecture. Okay, so that's it from my side.